Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's Spa-Francorchamps Belgian Grand Prix race review for the F1 2019 Formula 1. Now, I want to take this time quickly to have a minute's silence in respects of Antonio Hubert, or Antoine Hubert. Not too sure how you pronounce his first name, but nonetheless, obviously, what happened this weekend? Sadly, he lost his life in a Formula 2 crash, huge crash. His car literally split into two pieces at the top of a Rouge near Radillon, and obviously, he died as of his injuries due to that, tragic, obviously, death, and a tragic way to go, but, I think it's only right and just to pay a minute's silence to the fella, and to him, who will surely be missed throughout the Formula 1 and Formula 2 paddock. So that's roughly a minute's silence then there, guys. Done. Paying our respects to Antoine Hubert, of course. Formula 2 driver who sadly lost his life in a tragic incident, as I mentioned yesterday, in the Formula 2 feature race. Of course, videos are on YouTube. If you do want to go see them, please be advised they can be probably quite graphical or quite disturbing. So if you're not one for maybe... if you're not wanting to upset yourself, then I would advise not to watch it, but, that's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, moving on from that, obviously, tragic events, let's move on to more positive things then today, and that's the Formula 1 race, where, thankfully, all 20 drivers did make it across the line unhurt at the Belgian Grand Prix. It was Charles Leclerc, though, who crossed the line first. Obviously, a great friend of Antoine Hubert. Obviously, all these French drivers are quite close. All these French and Monegasque drivers are very, very close people in the Formula 1 paddock. Obviously, Charles Leclerc, won today's Grand Prix. He won the race from Lewis Hamilton, who we'll come on to in a minute. But, first win, I guess it's third time lucky for him. You could argue, twice rejected, but third one is his lucky one. I think, he deserves today's race win. He outqualified his teammate Vettel by by over half a second, 0.7 of a second. However, Vettel did have a scruffy lap, but no denying the facts anyway. He still was able to outqualify Vettel, a four-time champion. And he more or less led every single lap, all the way from the start to the finish line, really. Yes, okay, you could say, there were team orders from Ferrari, but despite the team orders, I don't think we can deny Vettel's tyres went off in that stint, and in a way he sort of settled for fourth. Vettel did, and Leclerc had better pace throughout the weekend. Obviously, we know, I think Leclerc has got incredible talent. Let's not deny that. But, I think it's very nice to see him up on the podium and on the top step of the podium. I think we can all agree there somewhat, despite whatever team or driver you support. Because, it's nice to see the young guys doing well in Formula 1. Like your Verstappens, Leclerc's, Russells, Norris's. It is nice to see them do well. It is nice to see them take the fight to the establishment, like Vettel, Hamilton, Bottas, Ricciardo. And they deserve to be in Formula 1 because they're quick enough. And I think Leclerc has proven he deserves to be at Scuderia Ferrari. Now, obviously, what this means for Ferrari and for Leclerc, he is officially Ferrari's first race winner of the 2019 season. Of course, it does mean that, even though you could argue it should be Vettel, who obviously took the checkered flag first at the Canadian Grand Prix. However, on paper and as results will always show, in the 2019 season, it will read Charles Leclerc's name first before Vettel, if Vettel even wins a race this season. But I think, it is positive to see Ferrari win again. It's positive to see Ferrari win a race because they've had such a horrible time so far, 2019. I know it probably won't make a difference for the Drivers' Championship much. I still think, the current championship, it'll probably finish now Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, Vettel, Leclerc. I think that's the way it's going to finish. Maybe Leclerc, Vettel, or maybe even Leclerc gets third possibly, but I don't think he will. So, obviously, as I say, I think, overall, it won't make too much of a difference, but it's still a good story to say that Leclerc won a race. Plus, he won it in tribute to his, as I say, friend, Antfine Hubert. So equally, he deserves it for two reasons, as well. Next, coming on to Hamilton. Now, Hamilton, P2, after qualifying P3, I think he deserves the podium. Let's face it, overall. I think he does deserve the podium, at minimum, overall. And, obviously, he deserves to be up there on the podium. And what more can I say, really? He did do a good race. He sort of helped Mercedes get second and third through putting Vettel under a lot of pressure in the early phase of the Grand Prix. The only thing is, he got held up by Vettel equally during the Grand Prix as well. So Vettel played a very good teammate and supporting role to Charles Leclerc, which is something you don't really hear said much often in Formula 1. But, he did do a good job. Lewis Hamilton, he deserved probably second. I don't think he deserved the race win. I don't think he put in a good enough stint. What it does mean, though, he extends his championship lead by 3 points over Valtteri Bottas. Next, we come on to Valtteri Bottas. P3, renewed contract, of course, this season for 2020. That was confirmed this Thursday. But not only has he got a renewed contract, he finished P3 and a renewed stigma in his steps. So, I think he deserved P3. Again, I don't think he really deserved to be ahead of Hamilton. I don't think he was quick enough. And I don't think he deserved maybe to not finish any lower than P4, and he didn't. So, in my opinion, he achieved all the team's goals this weekend that the team could have set him. Again, he goes up a few positions after starting P4, moves up into P3 in the race. After overtaking, or after that obviously late Ferrari pit stop with Sebastian Vettel. And obviously next we come on to is Vettel. P4 in the race, fastest lap of the race. So he does earn one extra point. That's his second fastest lap of his season so far. And yeah, obviously now only 12 points splitting himself and his teammate in the Drivers' Championship. He's ahead, of course. He does gain, though, good points on Verstappen. Gains, in fact, 13 points on Max Verstappen, which is good for him. But yeah, once again, another, not a good performance, but a good performance to the extent. I think he did have good pace. Not amazing pace. He weren't quicker than I don't think his teammate really at any one point consistently. Vettel wasn't, to be brutally honest. But he did come in earlier, 6 laps earlier than his teammate, 7 laps earlier than Hamilton. So his tyres sort of weren't non-existent when they caught him on around that lap 30 point. But he held up, obviously Hamilton for quite a number of laps. And he put in a good fight with Hamilton, which I think, obviously Ferrari should respect, because actually, he probably cost Hamilton 4 seconds. Now, Hamilton did make up 4 seconds of race time on Leclerc towards the end. In fact, he made up 6 seconds, in fact. So, if you took Vettel out of the equation, possibly we could have seen a Hamilton win, not a Leclerc win. So, even though, yes, you could argue Vettel wasn't quite on the money today or all weekend. However, he did manage to give or help Leclerc, successfully win this Grand Prix without too much pressure. And I think that has to be recognised today from the Vettel camp and from, obviously, the Vettel fans, of course. It weren't like it was at all too bad of a day for Sebastian. Again, he did get fastest lap, so obviously that was good for Vettel, I guess, in that sense. But, I think he was just struggling with the balance of the car, like he has done all season long. But yeah, again, not good enough. I'm pretty sure he'll be disappointed as well with the result as it is. Finally, we come on to Alex Albon, obviously. The man who's been promoted for Pierre Gasly, and already P5, he's outraced his teammate today. Okay, yes, his teammate crashed on the first opening lap. Coincidentally, where almost Hubert crashed coincidentally almost at the top of a Rouge. But obviously, yeah, not a good day for Verstappen, but brilliant day for, Alexander Albon, of course. And I'm pretty sure he'll be happy with that. P5 on your debut as a Red Bull driver. Brilliant result. What more could you ask for? Yes, okay, the race win. But look, that wasn't on the table. Coming into the Grand Prix weekend, he was already facing, numerous challenges. Obviously, in terms of the respect, he was facing the challenge of going up against Max Verstappen. But not only that, it was confirmed that he would be taking a grid penalty early on in his Red Bull career. So, he was already facing multiple challenges already going into this Grand Prix weekend. And he started 17th, finishes in P5. That's like a gain of, 13 positions, which is really, really good. Now, if I was Gasly, could he have done that? I don't think so. And Gasly was actually outraced by Daniel Kvyat, who also did another good job this weekend. But, brilliant job for Albon. And if there's a way to start your Red Bull career and to prove that you deserve a seat for 2020 at Red Bull, well, I think today was the perfect way to do it for Alex Albon. And hopefully it'll be a real confidence boost going into, obviously, Italy and into Monza. And hopefully he can, prove why he, once again, deserves that 2020 seat at Red Bull Racing alongside Max Verstappen. So that's all I'm going to comment on today. I'm going to end the video here. Once again, my respects, my thoughts, my prayers go out to Anfine Hubert, who, as I say, was a phenomenal Formula 2 driver, phenomenal talent. And it's a shame that, I honestly mean this. It's a real shame he's no longer with us. And yeah, it's tragic to think he's been taken away from the Formula 1, the Formula 2, and the racing world so early on in his days. And hopefully, that his family will get all the support they need from the FIA, and hopefully also they can fight for, justice for him, to see, or whatever justice they want. Hopefully they can fight to get that for Antoine Hubert, because clearly I think safety needs to be improved, and it's sort of just another reason why safety needs to be improved. Yes, these are probably the safest cars, the safest vehicles that, a Formula 2 or a Formula 1 driver can get into, but, okay, there's no excusing the fact that, to take a life still of a driver is still not safe enough, and safety needs to be improved. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a great day. See you next time for the Monza Grand Prix.